नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So just a few days back, 2-3 days back, we have celebrated the most auspicious occasion of Shri Radhastami. So today we will try to discuss about Shri Radhastami and the glories of Srimati Radharani, so that we understand who she is and we can serve her. And thus we can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So before starting, first thing we should understand is that conditioned souls like us who are basically stuck in this age of Kali, and who we are affected by the ignorance of Kali. So Prayan Alpa Yusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, which says that here in this age of Kali, people are they have but short lives. They are lazy, quarrelsome, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So we can't understand these topics. Basically these topics are very high, they are a very high level of subject matter, which even great sages are trying to understand. So this topic of Radhastami is very glorious, and it is called Veda Gopya, which means that Gopya means secret. So this thing has been kept secret even in the Vedas. So that's how big this topic is, that's how big, that's how exalted this topic is, and we find this topic discussed very rarely among the discussions that we have in today. Very rarely we will find that such an exalted topic of Radhastami is and the glories of Srimati Radharani is being discussed. So actually what happened is that until Mahaprabhu came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this knowledge was not exposed, it was not like preached that much publicly as it is today. So Lord came to this world, he incarnated, and he took sannyas at the age of 24. He left his mother and his wife. So for a few days in the house of a person called Venkat Bhatt, and he joked with him on this topic, so about Radhastami, and this knowledge of the Vedas, it could not describe Srimati Radharani properly, and this thing is kept very rare even in the Vedas as well. So this is the reason why Mahaprabhu came to do it. So he one of the things that Mahaprabhu has given us is he has bestowed the knowledge of Srimati Radharani's glories upon us. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur himself, he is saying that he didn't understand Radha Tattva until he read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a scholar in all the Vedic literatures. He was the father of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was the one who tried to preach and propagate this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted somebody to do it because he thought that he couldn't, and he wanted someone to do it, and that's how as a result of his prayers to Lord Jagannath, his son Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born. So this personality, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he is saying that before I read Chaitanya Charitamrita, I did not understand Radha Tattva properly. So when he read Srimad Bhagavatam, he was sort of confused, and he could not understand the whole thing properly until he read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So here here basically what is being said is that we to get this knowledge of Srimati Radharani to be like well acquainted with this, which is obviously not possible for conditioned souls like us, because even great personalities like Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that he was confused when he read Srimad Bhagavatam, so we are nowhere compared to him. So this is why in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 5.132 it is stated that Chaitanya Bhakta Ganera Nityakara Sangha Tabeta Janiba Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. So Swarupa Damodara Goswami, Swarup Damodar continued, associate regularly with the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for then only you will understand the waves of the ocean of devotional service. So the most intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar Goswami, he is trying to say, Swarup Damodar, he is trying to say that this knowledge of devotional service, this devotional service is so vast, it is a big ocean. So how to like taste this nectar and get something tangible out of it? For this we should try to associate with the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is joking with Venkat Bhatt, Venkat Bhatt is basically saying about this topic. He is saying that he cannot understand it, although he is a very exalted personality. He is saying that he can't understand it. For this there is one reference, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 9.125, where he states that Ami Jivak Shudra Buddhi Sahaja Aisthir Ishwarera Leela Koti Samudra Gambhira. He is saying that Venkat Bhatta then said, I am an ordinary human being. Since my intelligence is very limited and I am easily agitated, my mind cannot enter within the deep ocean of the pastimes of the Lord. So basically here three disqualifications is that we are, first of all, we are insignificant jivas, Ami Jiva. We are very small compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So because if we see, then we are in this earth, and this earth is a part of the 14 planetary systems of one Brahmanda, and in this Brahmanda there is one Brahma, and there is the Patal, the hellish planets is there, the upper planets is there, and Brahma's planet, that is Satyaloka, is the topmost in this planet. Like this, if we see, then there are innumerable jivas in this one Brahmanda itself. So Brahmanda means the Anda means the egg. So Brahmanda means the cosmic manifestation. So like only in one Brahmanda itself we find that there are innumerable jivas. So some are in the hellish planet, some are in the upper planet, some are in this earth. And if we see, then with one exhale of Mahavishnu, innumerable such Brahmandas come up. So there are, we can only imagine how the big number of jivas which are there in this whole cosmic creation. So, and this Mahavishnu is the expansion of, is one of the expansions of the expansions of the expansions of Krishna. So Krishna is basically expanding into Balram, and from Balram comes the first Chaturvyuha, then which the and Aniruddha. So Sankarshan, from the Sankarshan of the first Chaturvyuha comes the comes the second quadruple forms, again Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. Then from the Sankarshan of this second Chaturvyuha comes Mahavishnu. So we can only imagine in comparison to Mahavishnu where we are, and Mahavishnu is only an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So where is Krishna, where are we? So that's how we can understand that we are very insignificant jivas. So also there is one more reference, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 5.9, बालाग्रशतभागस्य शतधा कल्पितस्य च भागो जीवस विज्ञेयः स च अनन्ताय कल्पते, which states that बालाग्रशतभागस्य शतधा कल्पितस्य च, the size of the soul is being mentioned, that's how insignificant we are. So we take this hair that we have, we take one strand of hair and the upper portion we cut it into 100 parts, and we take one of those 100 parts, balagra shatabhagasya, so the upper portion is cut into 100 parts, shatadha kalpitasya cha, so we take one part and we cut that one part into 100 again. So Shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jivasa vigneya sa chanantaya kalpate. This is the size of the soul, of our soul. And this shows basically how insignificant we are compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So basically 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair, that is the size of our soul. So that's how small we are. So we are also affected by the age of Kali. We are less intelligent. So as we already mentioned previously, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10 Praye Nalpayusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadritaha, that the jivas in the age of Kali, they have but short lives, and they are lazy, quarrelsome, misguided, unlucky, and they are above all, they are always disturbed. So they are completely influenced by the age of Kali. So here there is one verse which is Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31, that is mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj. Nati vidhu swartagatim hi vishnum durashayaye bahirarthamaninaha andha yatha andhe rupakiyamana tepi shatantrya murudam nibaddaha. So this states how strong the age of Kali is, that the influence of the age of Kali, that persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return back home, back to Godhead. As blind men led by another blind men miss the right path and fall into a ditch, the materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in the materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. So the threefold miseries of life, Adi Atmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, which again these are the miseries which the three modes of material nature and the external energy of the Supreme Lord Durga is imposing upon us, this age of Kali's influence. As Prahlad Maharaj is very nicely mentioning that a blind man leads another blind man and falls into a ditch. So we are so much affected by the age of Kali, and the leaders of society also, who are just only into their own personal gain, they are leading the entire nation and falling into a ditch. So the whole nation is left in misery. That's how the people in general are left in misery. So this is the influence of the age of Kali, what is happening. So again, it is mentioned sahaja aisthir, we are easily agitated. So this is what again Venkat Bhatt is mentioning. So that the three disqualifications are: we are insignificant jivas, number one, and number two, we are affected by the age of Kali, we are less intelligent, we are Shudra Buddhi, very less intelligence we have, and we are easily agitated. So these are the three things. And also when we it is also described by Srila Prabhupada in many places, and also that this pain that we are getting from staying in this material world, and because we have these disqualifications, we are not able to properly realize this knowledge of higher subject matters relating to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are afflicted by the age of Kali. This world is created in such a way that it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So we are getting pain from this world repeatedly. So this pain and this world is very much designed properly actually, if we see, because pain creates a doubt in the heart of a person who is intelligent. So the person is continuously experiencing pain, and every time he sees that there is some difficulty, he is not gaining any happiness, even though the money is there, the health is there, the this thing, but the satisfaction from inside is not coming. There is still the pain is there to accumulate, to preserve, and everything else. So what happens basically? The pain creates a doubt in the heart of a person who is intelligent, the person who actually has that knowledge, and who is Manushyanam Sahasreshu. For out of many people, he is the one person who will think like this. So very rarely we will find such a person. So this doubt comes into the heart of a person, that what am I experiencing? Every time I am constantly endeavoring to make money to like satisfy myself, but then every time I am experiencing pain. What is happening basically? So this is what happens to the person who is actually intelligent. And we can see that in Srimad Bhagavatam also Daksha Prajapati is speaking with Narada Muni. So Daksha Prajapati, he first begot 10,000 sons who are all called Hariyashvas. They went to the forest and they were practicing austerities. Daksha Prajapati told them, you first practice austerities, you come back and then you propagate the whole world. But then what did Narada Muni do? He went there, he gave spiritual knowledge to these 10,000 sons of Daksha and he liberated them. So he made them into all into brahmacharis. And then also about when Daksha Prajapati realizes that, oh yes, my sons are made into brahmacharis, he again begets a 10,000 sons, 1,000 sons. Earlier it was 10,000, now he begot 1,000 and he sent them again to the forest. You better go practice austerities and then come. So Daksha Prajapati sends his 1,000 sons again, who are called Shavasvas. And then Narad Muni comes and liberates them also. So Daksha Prajapati goes to them. Daksha Prajapati goes to Narad Muni and he says that, what have you done? Like, first of all, let them come back, let them see the world, how painful the world is, and then let them renounce it properly. But actually, if we see that pain in itself, when this intelligent person is getting pain, and Daksha Prajapati is also talking about this thing, that let my sons first experience the pain of this material world, so and then let them renounce it. So this is like basically pain is not the only factor responsible for transformation, what we are talking about here. Unless and until we meet the right person to take guidance, we are doomed. So just like these Hariyashvas and Shavashvas who went to meet, who went to the forest and they by chance they met Narada Muni. So unless we meet the right person, the right devotee, so always associate Chaitanya Bhakta Ganera Nityakara Sangha, always associate with the devotees. So unless we get that right person, it's not going to happen. So we will be doomed in our efforts to come out of this pain. So over here also, if we see that in Srimad Bhagavatam, this is why Parikshit Maharaj is also mentioning to of Srimad Bhagavatam to him. Here we also find that he says that Parikshit Maharaj is saying to Shukdev Goswami that Vayam hi dhanyatama loke. Guropi Kshatra Bandhava Vayam Piba Muhutvatta Punyam Krishna Kathamritam. I am the most fortunate person. A person who is almost 7 days close to his death. In the next maybe 4 or 5 days he is going to die. He is saying that he is most fortunate. Why? Because, oh my Lord, my spiritual master, although we are the lowest of Kshatriyas, we are glorified and benefited because we have the opportunity of always hearing from you the nectar of the pious activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vayam piva muhutvatta punyam Krishna kathamritam. So, he is saying, he is using superlative degree. He is saying that he is most fortunate. So, fortunate, more fortunate, most fortunate. He is using the superlative degree. So, Dhanya, a fortunate person is a devotee, is a person who meets a devotee once. And Dhanya Tara, the person who is more fortunate is he who hears from devotees once. So, person who meets the devotees once is fortunate. Who hears from them once is more fortunate. And who repeatedly associates with devotees and hears from them every time is most fortunate. So this is what Parikshit Maharaj is saying here, that I am getting this chance to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from Shukdev Goswami. Now you might be, now when we see that, we might be thinking, how is this pain and other concept related to what we are trying to say about Radhastami? The point is that due to this pain, we go to the right person, we ask the right thing, then the surrendering mood rises in our heart, Sharanagati. Then after that, Radharani takes charge of us. When Radharani accepts, when Srimati Radharani accepts us, then Krishna will also automatically accept us. So this is what happens, that we have no qualification to understand this thing. Even great souls also, they are behind this knowledge. And if we are, but even though we are disqualified, we are given this knowledge about this tattva, and thus we are going and seeking the right knowledge from the right person, and then finally we are getting the surrendering mood. And then finally Radharani takes, Srimati Radharani takes charge of us who are now ready to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So, and there is also one more verse which is Srimad Bhagavatam 3:27-24, which says Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashah Neshwarya Syashubham Dhatte Swamahimni Sthitasya Cha. That by discovering the faultiness of his desiring to lord it over the material nature, and by therefore giving it up, the living entity becomes independent and stands in his own glory. So how this thing can happen? When he meets a right person to gain this knowledge. So then we are actually getting this knowledge, and Srimati Radharani is taking charge of us in what we are like doing in our endeavor to try and become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now here basically let us try and get into this philosophy of Srimati Radharani's identity. Even though we are not that much qualified, we have like spent all this time speaking about this only, that we are not qualified to hear this message, but we are still, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the other great personalities like the 6 Goswamis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their disciples, etc. We have gotten, we have received this thing so that we can hear it as well. So, quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4.156, which says, Radha Krishna Eka Atma Duhi Deha Dhari Anyoni Vilasi Rasa Aswadana Kari. So it says that Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two different bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. So, this thing should never be compared to material mundane lust, because if we see that the devotees of the Supreme Lord who are there, they like Arjuna, when he went to the heavenly abode, at that time Urvashi tried to captivate Arjuna, but Arjuna remained controlled in his senses, and Arjuna is a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. So, the Supreme Lord is the master of such great devotees like Arjuna, who themselves are freed from lusty desires. So the Supreme Lord, how can he be lusty? He definitely he cannot be lusty. And as it is being said here that Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two different bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Basically what happens here is that the Lord needs someone to enjoy mellows who is equal to him, because the Lord says the Lord is Asamurdhva. Asam and Urdhva. So Asamurdhva. Sama means equal and Urdhva means above. So Asamurdhva means there is nobody equal and nobody above the Supreme Lord. How can an ordinary soul enjoy with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So because the Supreme Lord also wants to experience these mellows, he is expanding himself into his feminine expansion, which is Srimati Radharani. So so that he can enjoy tasting the mellows of pure transcendental love between both of them. So basically this is what is there about the identity of Srimati Radharani, that the Supreme Lord needs somebody equal to him, and thus he is expanding himself into Srimati Radharani. So there is also one more verse, which is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4.98, which states Radha Krishna Aiche Sada Eka Hi Swarup Leela Rase Aswadite Dare Dui Roop. So Radha and Krishna are one, but they have taken two forms to enjoy the mellows of pastimes. So this is like the almost the same as what we have seen previously. And the best part of this is that Lord became two from one. So the Lord is one in himself and he expands himself into two, which is himself and Srimati Radharani. And then from this he becomes one from two again. So these two, Srimati Radharani and the Supreme Lord, they again combine to become Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the best part about this thing here, that they are one and the same, but then they expand themselves into two. Then they again combine to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is coming in the Radha Bhav with the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. So here also there is one more reference, that Radha, which is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1.5. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Haladini Shakti Rasmad Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Bhedam Gatautau Chaitanyakhyam Prakatam Adhuna Tad Dvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suva Litam Naomi Krishna Swarupam. Here it is said that the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are the transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Though Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So this is the best part about this thing with between Srimati Radharani and the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Now, how is Srimati Radharani important for our spiritual advancement? If we see that Srimati Radharani has two works which is primarily done by her. Um, Here these two works which is done by Srimati Radharani is that she serves all happiness to Lord Govinda. Govinda Ananda Karasevan, and she exists to please the Lord only. This is this is one work done by Srimati Radharani, and she maintains bhakti in the heart of the devotee. As we had already mentioned previously, she takes charge of the conditioned soul when he gets the mode of surrender. So Srimati Radharani is so great that Sri Narada Muni, he became Narada Gopi and Shiva became Gopeshwar Mahadev. They changed the genders so that they can get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And Uddhava, he asked to change species. He wanted to become a grass in blade of grass in Vrindavan, so that Srimati Radharani could step on him every day and he could get her mercy. So this is how great Srimati Radharani is, that great personalities like Uddhav, who is the disciple of Brihaspati and is full in knowledge in himself, he is asking for this benediction. So this is what people have done to get her mercy basically. This is how great Srimati Radharani is. So this very form of Mahaprabhu is basically because of the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, as we already saw in that verse. So this is the value of her in our life basically. Mahaprabhu came here to give us the knowledge of Srimati Radharani. So the source of our happiness, whatever happiness and bliss we are getting, is coming from Srimati Radharani only. So here the question arises is that why did Mahaprabhu try to appear as Srimati Radharani? So from this we are seeing from Adi Leela 1.6 in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which states that desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared in the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So this is the reason why Lord appeared as Srimati Radharani, because he wanted to know the glory of Radharani's love for him, how much love Srimati Radharani feels for him, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love. And so the happiness that she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, this is to experience all this. He wanted to appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the mood of Srimati Radharani. So here basically what is said is that the cow doesn't know the taste of its own milk, the flower doesn't know the taste of its own honey. So but the calf, it knows that, oh, my mother's milk is very tasty. The honeybee, it knows that, oh yes, this flower yields wonderful nectar. But and also the Lord doesn't know what is there in himself, but Srimati Radharani knows. So that's why the Lord appeared with the mood and sentiment of Srimati Radharani, so that he can experience some of this love. So here basically Radharani gives her protection, inspiration, protection, instruction, inspiration and salvation to all of us conditioned souls who are stuck in this who are basically stuck in this material world, and Kali is influencing us. The external energy of the Supreme Lord Durga is constantly piercing us with the Trishul of the three modes of material nature. So amidst all of this, we are getting the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So now, why Srimati Radharani is the greatest devotee of the Supreme Lord? Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila 23.68. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kantihi Sammohini Para. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attraction to attract the all attractive supreme personality of Godhead. She is the primal internal potency of the Supreme Lord. And also in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that this text is found in the Brihad Gautamiya Tantra. For an explanation, see Adi Leela 4.83 to 95. So basically Srimati Radharani is the same as the Supreme Lord, if we say, and she is the feminine expansion of the Supreme Lord as mentioned in the previous references of verses. So this is the thing that we need to understand about Srimati Radharani, and this thing should never be misunderstood, and for completely understanding the potency of the Supreme Lord, all his opulences, as mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, one has to study the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam thoroughly to get to know that, oh yes, this person is not an ordinary person, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And only then one can proceed to the 10th canto, where he can get a detailed analysis of the pastimes between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. So the hidden meaning behind these pastimes can be understood only when a person has first read the 9 cantos thoroughly and then proceeds to the 10th canto. So basically Radharani is also teaching, Srimati Radharani is teaching her us by her example, that when she was born she had her eyes closed, and at that time Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida Devi, who were her parents, they were worried. But Narada Muni came, he said, don't worry, you bring Nanda Maharaj, you ask him to bring his son also here. So Radharani opened her eyes first seeing the Supreme Lord. So this is a lesson that we all have to take, that from the starting itself our eyes must be utilized in this process of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we should pray for the right mood to serve Srimati Radharani, as this is the end message of this whole thing, that this philosophy is so great. It is basically an ocean. It cannot be understood, and it is it is vast, and only by the mercy of Srimati Radharani we can get something tangible. We can get some tangible understanding about her opulences and her pastimes with the Supreme Lord. So on this day of Radhastami, we should pray and have the mood of a devotional service towards Srimati Radharani. Otherwise we can't get her mercy, and if Srimati Radharani doesn't give her mercy, we cannot offer anything to the Supreme Lord. We cannot become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Only when Srimati Radharani takes charge of us and he says that, yes, oh my dear Supreme Lord, please accept this soul, he is going to now become your devotee, then Krishna will accept us. So first we please Srimati Radharani, and then we can easily attain the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So this was the end of the explanation on Sri Radhastami. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams.